Hello everyone, coming to you from Sunset Park. My name is Jennifer Brown. I wanted to do this video, an update on my situation as a victim of human rights abuses. Yesterday, my friend she's a whistleblower. She's from NSA. Her name is Karen Stewart. She no longer works for NSA. She was fired for whistleblowing. Basically, she is the one who is one of the main people who are talking about political dissidents and activists and whistleblowers around the world who have been victims of torture. Okay? Yesterday, she put up a news report from the UN because yesterday was UN's International Awareness Day of those suffering from human rights abuses or torture. Now, she also added in there that the United Nations has finally announced that the torture going on of political dissidents and activists around the globe is happening. And they are heading off an international investigation in regards to targeted individuals and what they suffer and the torture that they go through. Okay. So with that being said, I will say this. We know that United Nations, for the most part, anyone following Q, we know that they are not to be trusted. So why would they say they are going to head off the investigation? Would that be because they can manipulate the findings and let you guys know later that they have changed their position, and that now, after they investigate it, once they do, they'll come forward and say there's they find no evidence of such wrongdoing, or they, I believe that that's what they're going to do, to try to hide and cover the crimes against humanity, because many of these governments are using it to squash dissent. Now, the reason this is being done is because if you've been following the Q movement, you know that the deep state has one agenda and one agenda only. Why ain't you dead yet? And we also know that behind the scenes that rogue pay-to-play personnel who have sold us out down the river, who used to work for our constitutionalist military, many of them have decided to take 10 times the pay to work for the deep state and helping them take us out, okay, or take us down from within. Many of the special access programs from which they wanted to use is mentioned in the NASA Future of War PDF. The NASA Future of War PDF. But it does state that the news media will be complicit in hiding crimes against humanity. So, when you know that that's going on, which many people are unaware, but for the ones who are woken up, they get it. So basically, essentially, what this means is that the news media outlets, they have 400 CIA embedded in press, radio, print, and film. At 4 a.m., MSN, MSNBC, CNN, Headline News, New York Times, and Washington Post are all fed their narrative for the day, from which they are supposed to repeat across all the networks, including through newspapers, as well as radios, as well as talk show hosts or talk shows on television, nightly news magazines, good morning shows, news affiliates, all talking the same and spewing the same. bullshit, which is misinformation. Okay? And so what really is coined the term conspiracy theorist? Those who spread misinformation. Works wonderful for the deep state, because all those who loathe in the news that you're getting, the bullshit, the fake narrative stuff, about COVID numbers and, how Antifa is peaceful protesters and, the ones that are burning down the businesses and killing, wanting to kill the cops and killing cops and killing others, as well as not letting you know that they're on pay-to-play contracts to do this, along with some of them, unfortunately, in the BLM group, as well as the LGBT community, as well as what we have, our 45-year-old Gestapo program called gang stalking. That organization. All these organizations have one thing in common and one thing only. They're all on, most of them, who are rioting right now, are doing so for one purpose and one purpose only: money. They're all on contract. Now let me tell you something about this play-to-pay contract. Once you are part of these organizations, once you sign on to contract, you are then to be hit with radiation to the brain 24/7. Why? Because they have a technology where they want to control what you believe. They want to control your feelings of apathy, feelings of guilt or shame, feelings of compassion toward another person. Why? Because they don't want you to have empathy. They don't want you to have feelings of remorse toward the assignments that you will be given to help assist in taking America down from within. Now, this goes for all the news media outlet people, the 100 specifically that we have indictments against, who are going to be facing trials at the military tribunals. They are also on contractual agreement, as well as rogue CIA to keep them in line to follow their assignments, as well as rogue FBI, and any other military contractual agreements between the military or CIA or FBI, deep state players, and those people who signed on to contracts from the very top at the certain corporations that are helping them with the deployment systems on how to take out the human race. Again, if you look at the NASA Future of War PDF, if you Google that, you will see there are 200 militarized styled deployment systems from which they want to use to take you out. Now, why is this relevant? It's relevant because right now in the United States, we have 10,375 million U.S. citizens who have had their file fabricated and sent up to FISA, Secret Kangaroo Court, so that they can get the funding to torture these individuals. Who is on this list? Antifa members under contract, BLM members under contract, LGBTQ members who are going to be asked to sign the contract to work for the deep state, anyone who is working for deep state or getting paid by George Soros. We know that George Soros is paying Antifa. He's a domestic terrorist, by the way. He is paying Antifa off, BLM members off, and LGBTQ members off. Why? Because Antifa, who's been just labeled a terrorist group, is hiring or trying to get these groups to side with them. Now, here's the problem. Once you sign on with Antifa to spread hate, violence, and help assist to take down America from within, you will be required to sign a contract. You will be hit with directed energy weapons, or not directed energy weapons, but remote covert technologies that works from a distance, either by satellite, cell tower deployment and or handheld devices, and you will be hit with in the back of the brain to control your consciousness. Basically, very similar to Manchurian Candidate-styled mind control. Now, you laugh, but should you? If you look at, there's a document that Kevin Shipp just did. I forgot what it's called, damn it. I think it's called Behind the Shadows. But if you go into that document, Kevin Shipp of CIA will clearly state that mind control has been going on all these years. In fact, the ones who are ahead of the program are called the Aquarius Group Organization. Again, Aquarius Group Organization. That is the new scientists that are head of the mind control program within the United States. Now, I send this message to Scusa, what could be deemed as thy enemy. Why do I do that? Why do I try to save you guys? Because your number exceeds ours by millions. The number of targeted individuals that the gang stalkers, the paramilitary group that's been in operation for 45 years, are required to go after are the targeted individuals. That would be an individual like me that is exposing the special access projects or programs that are to kill you every which way to Christmas. There's thousands of them, by the way. Most of them mentioned in the NASA Future of War PDF have already been rolled out. The ones that they still have left that they want to roll out are bioweapons, such as the COVID. Now, and EMP strikes, electromagnetic pulse, and things of that nature that kill volumetric lives of 300 million plus. Now, why is this important? It's important because when activists come out and tell you these things, especially ones that are targeted, you better listen up. Because they're targeted because they are very, very brilliant and bright in the information that they have on the deep state and its agenda to kill you and your families. So when an activist that's targeted comes to you and says, I am a targeted individual, I'm the beta test, you're next, and they give you information on what's happening, then that would tell you to get up off your tail and dig and research and look up the information that they are giving you. Why? Why should you be concerned? You should be concerned because if you don't get online and protest about what the atrocities that are happening to people in your community, then you, my friends, will be next. That is why. So again, the ones that are hit with directed energy weapons to the head through psychotronic technology is 10,375,000,000 Americans. Their files have been manufactured through FISA court. Through FBI fusion centers, and those files are making its way to the secret kangaroo court, which we call FISA. That's capital F as in Frank, I, S as in Sam, A as in Apple. Okay? So, this is basically why they're after Trump. This is why they want to take him down. As well as the other reason being is because that there are many, many people who have done harm to children, in by which they have moved them through the human trafficking circles and helped assist to do that internationally so that those children could be served up as toys and they could abuse them. Who has been killed for this? The Queen of England, Prince Andrew, and Prince Charles. He was taken down because of his assassination attempt on Princess Diana. I say attempt because she's in witness protection. You get why he's bye-bye now? So what you say is, oh, no, that's not true. That's not true. I just saw him on TV the other day. What you think you see is not the technologies or is not what you think you see. We are 100 years in advance in technologies, even from which you can dig up and find on the internet. And one of those technologies is to replicate a person's memory and the way they talk and the way that they act and all of their mannerisms, and put them into a synthetic form that you cannot tell the difference between whether or not they are human and or the synthetic form. If you look up Hillary Clinton robot back from before the real Hillary Clinton was taken down, you will see that synthetic form acting out, bugging out. She's basically seizuring while she's in the middle of an interview. This is why you guys don't think that anything has gone on as far as the arrest and getting the people what they deserve. But I'm here to tell you that most of those arrests have already happened. Hers included. She's already been tried and convicted, as well as her sidekick. And we're not talking about her husband either. These people have done horrible crimes against humanity, against children. That's what that's what Mercy and Comfort were about. They were about extracting those kids from underground in the DUMBs, emergency bunker systems. And they call them DUMBs. That's capital D as in David, U as in umbrella, M as in Mary, B as in boy, S as in Sam. So to find out an update on our constitutionalists within the military and how well they are going along with their operations internationally and taking down these special access projects and programs below, as well as rescuing the kids, you can go to Bless to Teach. Go to the playlist section and pull up military dumb wars or underground wars. And you will get an update. There's a playlist there. You can go through all of them and find out who is being controlled, whether it's under white hat control or deep state control per each state. They have several locations in some of these states, and they give you whether or not we're in control or we're not. Where I'm from, which is in Las Vegas, Nevada, the white hats have taken control of Area 51. That's S1, S2, S3, S4, S5, S6. We, right now as we speak, just got an update about 3 weeks ago that Nevada is under siege by our constitutionalists within the military and saving and extracting kids from underground. There's 5 generations of them. That the elite and Hollywood elite and the musicians elite, not all of them, but many of them, have been abusing and farming out to have sexual stuff done to them. That's why we have 5 generations, because they did those farming out activities, and the kids got pregnant. The young girls got pregnant, and that's why we have up to 5 generations below. The reason they want Trump out of here as of yesterday is because he is getting ready to hang from a rope. All those cocksuckers who did all that shit to those kids. Tom Hanks right now is dead because he's one of them. Robert De Niro now is dead because he's another one. Oprah Winfrey is on house arrest because of her activities involved. Ellen DeGeneres is on house arrest. Beyonce is in trouble for the same acts. Miley Cyrus, big time involvement. She is going to be going down. So you see, I want to tell you about the people who wanted to play to pay with these children. Now I'm going to give you the heroes in the music industry and the film industry that are in witness protection, who chose not to take the kids and harm them. So who is in witness protection right now? Robin Williams. He gave up everything. He's in witness protection right now. Biggie is in witness protection right now. Tupac is in witness protection right now. I believe Whitney Houston is in witness protection right now. Amy Winehouse, the reason she was on alcohol, drugs so bad is because she didn't want to join the satanic cult as she was being forced to do. She is in witness protection right now. Okay? So that is basically what is going on. So it's not that we don't have the evidence of the crimes, guys. We have what we're using is NSA. NSA is tracking and surveilling all phone, text messages, all emails, all digital services, everything, even down to your walkie-talkies. Why? Because everything has been designed to be able to be infiltrated. And if we find out that you are part of these domestic terrorist groups, you will be going down. We have to date all the names and the handlers' names of all community-based agents or gang stalkers in America, as well as all Antifa operators. So the masks are not necessary any longer. Furthermore, anytime that you brought your phone into the proximity to your body, the biological nano smart technology interacted with the phone and you were ID'd immediately. Whether you have 8 phones that you go through, switch out with 10 phones, 5 or 3, every time that you logged on to your phone, you were tagging your biological nano inside your body. How many are there? Over 1,000. They were spraying it in the air. It's called smart dust. It's permeable by your brain and other organs, and it can also be instructed. Just like with the cure for cancer, it can be instructed to go after bad cells to cure cancer and or to go after good cells in your upper respiratory to mimic what? A plague virus. Right? This is part of what COVID was about, but our military was on top of it and they shut down the 8 computer systems involved with that. So, let's talk about the riots, where the riots are going on. In every city, not every city, but every city or state where this is going on, they are being operated by play-to-pay governors, most on the Democrat side. Sorry to say, Comey, or the guy, Como, whatever, the guy in New York, the governor of New York, the one where the riots started. What they're doing is they're catching these terrorists, Antifa terrorists, and they're allowing them to be released back into the community. Why? Because Deep State is using them as a paramilitary group to help take down the country within. One of the ways that they are doing this is to erase history. They're wiping out all of the constitutional statues of every known statue that we have in America and around the world. They're even vandalizing musician statues such as Jimi Hendrix. By the way, he's in witness protection. As well as other statues. The next will be to change or burn the books, the book burnings. Guys, what they're doing is they're following the play-by-play that they, the CIA, have been taught by Project Paperclip, the guys that we brought over from Germany, who did all the atrocities and torturous crimes against those in the Auschwitz camps. When they came over, 400 of them went to the mind control program, which is still in operation today, and the other 600 went to the secret space programs, which has been in operation for 45 years. This is where a lot of these special access projects have come from to help take out people around the world through soft kill systems and or remote covert technologies. So, why am I making this video? I'm making this video because for every single person who knows about these atrocities and have heard about these atrocities going on within their city, they need to speak up. They need to go online and speak out. Because by doing so, you're protecting your family unit, your children, your grandchildren, and all those that come after you, as well as your own ass. We have become just like Germany. in by which when someone says that they are a victim of human rights violations, your first response is to laugh, mock, criticize, ridicule, spit on, make fun of, and not look anything up. Why? Because you have been successfully programmed by a terminology called conspiracy theorist. And your news media has reminded you for the last 45 years that it's the news that you should love and trust. Let me tell you something. Hitler, Mussolini, Stalin, and Mao would never have been successful at their genocide plans had it not been for the mainstream media. China would not be able to subjugate and harm its political dissidents and activists and scare the shit out of its people if it weren't for its media. Do you understand what I'm telling you? So the first job of a country who wants to take their people down within, the first instrument that they have to have at avail to them to fool and con and manipulate its people is the news media. So once you know this stuff, now your thinking should change. But you're saying, well, where's the proof? Well, what you can do is go to, there's thousands of proof, okay? Bernays was the first guy that was head off of propaganda. But you can just go look in history's past. Hitler, when he had the Auschwitz camps actually open, he kicked out all international news media outlets. Why do you think he did that, guys? Because he didn't want a different take other than his narrative, his propaganda that his government was spewing, which was hate, divide and conquer, and hate another group of people in by which so much you would want them dead. And you would support the government in any ways, any means, any ways possible to make sure that they remain dead and or were targeted. So when they tell you that they're just going after a specific group of people, I'm here to tell you, you better pull up, you better wake up and look at the NASA Future of War PDF, because you're going to find out it ain't about blacks, it ain't about whites, it ain't about Mexicans, it's about your ass isn't dead yet, and why aren't you? You were supposed to have been gone a long time ago. It talks about the financial collapse. It talks about leaving the borders open so we could be compromised, so we could, well, you guys know. Why would they leave the borders open? Well, they're leaving the borders. They wanted the borders open so they can move ISIS and other terrorist groups that are in line with the deep state agenda. You guys never understood that because you've had smoke blowing up your ass too goddamn long to understand the concept here. You get it? The one that you're putting on the pedestal, your newspaper, your news magazine, your television news magazine, your afternoon talk show host, your good morning shows, news shows, your Nightline, your PBS, your Washington Times, your New York Post, your CNN, your MSNBC, and your headline news, as well as, I hate to admit, Fox as well. Now, why did I say Fox? Because Fox has known about these human rights violations for 45 years. Fox has known about the Gestapo program in play for 45 years. Fox News has known about the smart dust being sprayed onto you because the activists worldwide and throughout America have told them, have emailed them, have sent them proof. Why don't you know about these things yet? As Kevin Shipp says, anybody that's on contractual agreements with the military and or deep state will lose they won't not only lose their job, but they'll manufacture evidence against that whistleblower if he signed that contract. And they will manufacture evidence and send that son of a bitch to prison and or worse. That means death, guys. Assassination. Get it? So when you're looking at your mainstream media and you think you're getting the truth, you better think again. You're getting CIA narrative 4 a.m. sent to them at 4 a.m. This is why You get the same sentence narrated and pitched over and over and over and over again throughout your day, throughout your local news, your newspapers, your talk show hosts, your nightly news, your daily morning news. So the conspiracy theorists are the huge group of people who are listening to the misinformation, because those who parrot misinformation and spew it and parrot out the misinformation, the deep state's narrative, are the ones who are putting Americans in harm's way. Most of these people, as I said, of news anchormen, they are on contracts with the deep state, and they are not allowed to expose any volumetric weapons used on we the people to take we the people down. This is why you're not hearing about geoengineering or chemtrails and that it exists. This is why you don't hear probably about the lawsuits about the food supply that's being poisoned, and how Monsanto just got hit by a $99 billion lawsuit. This is why you don't know about the cancer medications that have killed families that are still on the market. This is why you don't know about the innocent Americans throughout the United States that are telling you things such as I, that have had a manufactured file sent from the FBI fusion centers to the FISA courts. So basically, essentially what we're doing is just like what Germany did. Germany had the activists. They told the Germans and the Jews that were there, especially the Jews at the time, before Auschwitz, all of them came operational. They said, they're building camps. They're building camps. They're for the Jews. They're going to kill the Jews. They're going to say that they're unfit. They're spreading disease, and they are a menace to society, and that they should be killed. Well, what happened was the people mocked at them. They laughed at them. They ridiculed them. And, of course, as we know, the activists, were the first ones to be killed.